So, having a child with a disability is obviously not a piece of cake, but it comes with many positives as well as some challenges that the families have to face together. So, I think some challenges that families experience with having a child that does have a disability are trying to maintain normalcy in their child's life. Obviously, even having just a child without a disability is very hard to maintain, like their social life and their extracurriculars, making sure they're getting involved and just having a positive experience overall. But when you have a child that does have a disability, it makes it tougher for the parents to find normalcy for that child, meaning to make sure that child isn't involved in like a club or like a sport, or if they're religious, making sure that they're involved in their faith community. And just making sure they have the right balance and that they have friendships, because friendships are obviously very, very important. And I think that sometimes can be a greater stress for these parents that do have a child with a disability, because it can be harder to maintain that. Also, an additional challenge is the parents themselves trying to find a balance within their own life. Having children in general is very hard, but especially having a child with a disability requires a lot more work, like carving out time for both your child with a disability and for the other children as well, making sure every single child is loved and given individual attention. This can be very difficult, and also the parents themselves need to like make sure that they're finding time to focus on themselves, like that they're not giving up their hobbies or interests, like just like the dad in the video, Paisley's dad, he likes to run. He still was able to incorporate running within his life even after he had Paisley. And that's very important, to have hobbies and maintain the physical health and mental well-beingness of the parents themselves. They're also, so I think some positive aspects of having a child with a disability is that it brings unity and this like united whole within the family. Can especially be seen even in like the siblings who have a sibling with a disability. So like they were talking about in the lectures, kids who have a sibling with a disability are usually more nurturing and are just better siblings overall, because they're willing to be an advocate for their sibling with a disability, which is really unique, because you're seeing like your child step up and taking a role and responsibility in their sibling's life, which is just awesome and amazing. And additionally, having that support from the extended family is awesome, and it just brings this really united front together to like combat this difficult situation, but ends up being just completely beautiful to be able to have that in their life. So some ways that teachers can be supportive for parents that have a child with disabilities is to first and foremost make sure that you are addressing the child as the child first and not as the disability first. Make sure that the parents know that their child is going to be loved and respected in this classroom and will be valued as like integral part of the classroom. That's so important that the teachers know that. So I think as a teacher, it's making sure you go out of your way to reach out to these parents in a very special way, whether that's writing a letter, having a phone call, even having a meeting with them. I feel like that's so important, because obviously this is a big step for their parents to make, especially if they're just starting school. Like this is a big new step for these parents, and so it's really important that the teacher is very like adamantly working within the parents' just making sure the parents are talking with the teacher. So that's very important, is having that communication there. Additionally, in the classroom, I think it would give the parents a lot of ease of mind to know that their child is being treated in the way that they best see fit. So through some research, I think as a teacher, it'd be really cool to like implement certain learning techniques with a child with disabilities. So for example, in my field class, we have a child with a disability, and the teacher goes out of her way to give this child with a disability a special role. So he gets to, like, if we're reading a storybook, she'll bring in like props, and he gets to hold the props and show them off to the whole classroom. And for him, that's something so special, and it gets him more involved in his learning, and he really feels supported and loved in that, which is just amazing. And in turn, that makes the parents feel more assured knowing that their child is being valued in the classroom and is learning, which is awesome. So yeah, those are my responses to the questions.